Hi, this is Alberto Damiano. I'm currently the headmaster at the International School in beautiful Genoa, Italy. And with this video, I would like to present to you our incredible school. This is an international school that operates in the city of Genova thanks to the support, the financial support of the city of Genova. So we're not entirely private. We are, as we say, semi-public. And we offer primary school and middle school and high school. And in middle school and high school, we are proud to offer the IB Middle Years Program and Diploma Program. If you're not familiar with the IBO, I would urge that you go look it up online, www.ibo.org. But I will try with this video to make you understand what it means to be an IBO school and what it is that we do here at Delta International. Let us start with one of the pillars of the International Baccalaureate Organization Education, which is its mission statement. Let me read it to you. The International Baccalaureate aims to develop inquiring, knowledgeable, and caring young people who help create a better and more peaceful world through intercultural understanding and respect. To this end, the organization works with schools, governments, and international organizations to develop challenging programs of international education and rigorous assessment. Those are two very important keywords. Our programs are challenging and the assessment is rigorous and it is internationally recognized. These programs encourage students across the world to become active, compassionate, and lifelong learners who understand, and here it comes my favorite sentence, that other people with their differences can also be right. In such hard times like the ones that we are living and experiencing right now in the world, I'm speaking during the COVID pandemic. I think that this sentence comes as a ray of light, okay, that illuminates really our current situation. I believe it's very important to understand that other people can also be right in spite of the fact that they might have a different opinion or they might come from different backgrounds. And this is definitely something that we like our students to understand. Another pillar, another very important part of our education at Adelaide International, like in any other IBO school, is the IB Learner Profile. What is it? It's a set of 10 attributes that we would like our students to develop. Now, mind you that it's basically impossible for anybody to become, to excel at all 10 of these characteristics, to become caring, reflective, inquirers, communicators, but we try to do our best to teach our students that those are skills, those are qualities that they should possess in order to become well-rounded adults. But we also took the liberty to add to these 10, to the set of these 10 attributes, two of our favorite adjectives. We believe that in order to be good learners and in order to be good people, and in order to function, let's say, effectively in an environment like in a work environment or a school environment, it is very important to be passionate about what we do. This is something that we added to the list of attributes of the AB Learning Profile for our school in 2016. And recently, during the lockdown that we were experiencing here in Italy in the spring of 2020, we learned that as a school and as individuals and as teachers and students and families, it is very important to be adaptive because things can change very quickly. So this is another goal that we have for our education. Let me move on and give you another piece of IBO pedagogy. It's international mindedness, the awareness that we as a world are all different but all united. And here is just an exemplification of some of the different souls and backgrounds that are present here at the Delta International School through the flags of some of the countries that are represented in our school. But what are we? What kind of school is the Delta International School? I think that in order to describe our school in a nutshell, I have to talk about three different ingredients. So our school is a blend of three ingredients. It's a combination of three different souls. The first one, for sure, is the Italian one. We are, in a way, an Italian school because we operate in Italy, because most of our families are Italian, because we use the Italian language a lot, because many of us are Italian, and there is a certain attention, there is definitely, okay, an attention in our education to the Italian culture, for example, the language, but also the literature and the Italian history. And also, we borrow from the Italian type of education, let me say, as an individual, as somebody who studied in Italy most of his life, up to when I was 22 and I got my degree in mathematics here at the University of Genova before moving to the US. I would say that we try to maintain a certain attention to the content, okay? So it's important that we teach subjects in a way that students become knowledgeable about those subjects. Another part of our nature is definitely the, let me say, Anglo-Saxon one, which I represent with this funny half American, half British flag, which doesn't mean that, you know, it's limited to that, to the UK or the US, but we definitely are part of this because we use English as our common language, especially in middle school and in high school. And we'll see later something more specific about the language, the use of language here at our school. And there is, borrowed from that type of education, there is a certain attention to discipline. Not that we do not care about discipline in Italian schools, but let's say that in a way we are strict in application of certain rules, especially when it comes to academic honesty. Okay, we want our students to learn the importance of being honest and of not copying or you know, not to fall into plagiarism of work from somebody else. And the third part of our puzzle here is definitely the IBO, so the international mindedness I was talking about before, which gets declined into, like I said, international minded, attention to the skills, okay, not just to the content, but also to the skills that the students develop and to the characteristics that they need to develop as learners, and also a, let's say, a flavor, a specific way of teaching which fosters and encourages the learning by doing, as we say. Let me get into more details about how the school is, how the school develops, let's say, starting from year one. In the first 5 years of our education, we have our primary school, which we call year one, year two, year three, four, and five. And we are not yet an IBO school in this section of Delta International, because we are applying to become a PYP, meaning Primary Years Program School, which is part of the IBO. But eventually, I think we will become one. We just opened our elementary school actually just a few years ago, because we started as a section of the Liceo Linguistico dell'Edda, okay, in which we offer the diploma program. So in spite of being the first years, these are the youngest years of our school, the youngest section of our school. And the teaching in this part of the school is basically entirely in Italian. So we want our kids, because they come from Italian family, to be really proficient and familiar and taught in the Italian language, so that they can acquire those skills that will allow them to learn best in the years, in the later years. Following the primary school, we get to middle school, which is 3 years of middle years program, MIP 1, 2, and 3. And this part of the school, we can definitely say that it's bilingual, because we teach both in Italian and in English. Why? Because we have two objectives. We want the kids to become proficient in English. They have to reach level B2 of the European certification, which roughly corresponds, well, actually it corresponds to the first certificate of English, the Cambridge exam. So B2 is one of the goals at the end of MP3, and also the Terza Media exam, the qualification for the Italian state. So Terza Media is an exam that we prepare them for. We are not a scuola paritaria. We are not officially recognized as part of the national system for the terza media. So our students take this exam in another school, as like they enroll in the exam in a school and they take the exam outside. After our middle school, we still have 2 years of middle year program. Those are the first 2 years of high school, MUP4 and MUP5. And this leads to the diploma program. But what I wanted to say about this is that starting from MUP4, which is basically year 9 of the education system, we start using only the English language as a language of communication in the classrooms, in our lessons. So everything is studied in English, except for obviously Italian and other languages. And after these 2 years, there are other 2 years, which are called diploma program, DP1 and DP2, in which the students are asked to choose a specific track. They can choose their subjects, we will see later in another slide. And they can basically compose their curriculum of studies by choosing 6 different subjects that will lead them to have an official IBO diploma at the end of it. So the IBO diploma is what is the title that they get at the end of all this path. And it is important to notice that this diploma, not only is it recognized everywhere in the world, but it is recognized also in Italy as a piece of paper, as a certificate that is valid to access even Italian universities, okay, as if the student had done maturita. So in spite of being a school that lasts 1 year less than regular Italian schools, let's say, because it's a total of 12 years of education, which is pretty common in other countries, like in America and the UK, for example. Here in Italy, usually kids stay in school from the first year of primary school until the last year of high school, and this lasts 13 years. This is a school that lasts 12, and nonetheless, the final diploma is valid automatically to enter university, even in Italy. This is very important. Next, so to delve a little deeper into the primary school, this is an idea of how many hours of each subject we have in each year, but I think you will find more up-to-date information on our website and on our brochure. So I urge you that you go either to our virtual tour, if this is where you're coming from, or our website and look for our brochure, which will show more in detail what we teach in elementary school. It's important to say that kids come to school in primary school from 8 to 3 every day, pretty much, and they have lunch at school, and it's mandatory. As I said, we started the process of becoming a PYP school for this section of the school. If you want to know more about the primary school or any other section, please drop us a line, write us an email. I will give you the contacts at the end of this presentation. But at the moment, let's keep talking about the middle school. This is what we have in our prima, seconda, and terza media, MOP1, MOP2, and MOP3. You can see here how many hours of each subject we teach. And again, lesson is from 8 to 3:20 every day, 7 hours of 7 periods, and 1 period of lunch. It is really important for us, we are really proud of it, to show our results, because we have this double, let's say, objective of having the kids grow and learn in an international environment, learn the English language, learn those skills I was talking about, learn how to become communicators, thinkers, inquirers, but also they need to know their subjects. They need to be taught what they teach in Italian schools. And so we prepare them for the terza media exam, which they pass very well, and they have incredible grades. With respect to an average of Italian schools, where the final grade out of 10 is about 7.6, 7.5, 7.7, we actually surpass this by about 1 point. So our kids in the past 5 years have obtained excellent results in the TETSAMET exam. And this is very remarkable to me. This is remarkable because they go to schools where they don't know the teachers. So they don't have the advantage that Italian kids have when they take their TETSAMET exams, because the Italian kids in an Italian school, they have this exam with their own teachers. Our kids go to an external school, and so they don't know the teachers that will examine them. And nonetheless, they have excellent grades at the end of it. So we're very proud of it. First half of our high school, still middle years program, MMP4 and MMP5. Here are the subjects and here are the hours. The timetable changes slightly because we only have lesson from 8 to 1:40, plus one afternoon in which they have PE and some extra classes in mathematics, or sometimes they might work on what we call the personal project, which is the final project that the students carry on in their last year of MIP, which is MIP5, second year of high school, or year 9 if you want. We have many activities. We used to do school trips, although now, during COVID pandemic, we are actually forced to stay here and in Genoa. But we have lots of other activities like the MUN club and the editorial group for our This News, which is our newspaper, and other things that the kids do. And many activities of service. You can find out more about the service activities that our kids do on the section of our website, which is called Community, I believe. So this is the first 2 years of high school, and the second 2 years of high school is the very famous diploma program from the IBO, which is internationally recognized as an excellent title at the end of high school, definitely comparable to the A levels or the AP levels in America. Students get to choose their subjects and get to choose what kind of track they want to do. We have 3 tracks in our school, which are basically equivalent to the scientific track if they choose 2 scientific subjects, to the linguistic track if they choose an extra foreign language, or the humanistic track if they choose to do business and management. Come to our open days and write us an email if you want to know more about the diploma program and the subject we offer. I believe that our choice of our subject offer is exceptional with respect to many other IBO schools that we have in Italy, and I'm very grateful that I get to work in a school where the offer is so broad. Results of our diploma of our students after the diploma are as well exceptional, like the ones for the TETSAMET. I am incredibly proud of that, and I want to talk to you about it because I think these numbers have to be explained in order to be understood. So here you see the last 5 years of results in our diploma, for our diploma students. The first row talks about how many students passed. And as you can see, the world average is about 80%, but we usually reach more than 90% and sometimes even 100% pass rate. Our highest IBU score can might look a little disappointing, I don't know, because out of 45, it was only last year that we actually got 3 students getting a 43, but that is also remarkable because if you look at the statistical bulletins of the IBO, which you can look up on the IBO website, you will see that to get a 45 out of 45 is basically impossible or very, very rare. So this is already a difference between the Italian maturità and the IB diploma. I know that in Italian schools is pretty common to get 100 over 100 in every class that I know of Liceo Classico, Liceo Scientifico. There are usually many students, more than 1 student, getting the top score. So I do not know, I'm sorry, how many kids get 100 out of 100 in Italian schools, what the percentage is of that, but be sure that in the IB all over the world, more than 5,000 schools, I think that there are only 100 or 200 students in total that get a 45. So to be able to reach a grade that is 40 or up is already exceptional. And we've had some of those excellent students in the past, which I would like to thank for their dedication to their studies and congratulate them for the incredible results that they've got. They're now studying all over, Europe and in other universities, both in Italy and in Holland, for example. I know some of them are in the UK. Somebody went to Canada or the US, and we're very proud of them. The average IB score is usually around 30 out of 45, but many times we have actually surpassed the world average, which is incredible if you think about, at least to me, because consider that many IBO schools are in countries where English is spoken as a first language. So the exam is taken by the students in a language that is their own native language, but our students, most of them being non-native speakers of English, have these results in spite of the fact that they take the exam in a foreign language. And to me, this is really what needs to be pointed out when we look at these numbers. We surpass world average when we are compared to kids that take this exam in English, where English is their first language. Also, the IBO is offered in the world in other places, like in Latin America or France, Canada, Spain. It's also offered in Spanish and in French. So there are schools that offer the IBO program and the diploma program in those languages. And so people whose first language is Spanish or French can take the IB exam in French or Spanish. Okay. Here in Italy, we don't have this luxury of taking the IB diploma in Italian. We have to take it in English. We have to have our students learn English so that they can pass the exam. And in spite of that, these are the results. And you can see the last row speaking about the average subject grade, because the final exam is composed by exams in every subject. Every subject is tested. So if the student takes 6 subjects, all the 6 subjects will be tested and the students will be given a grade out of 7 for the 6 subjects. So that is already 7 times 6, which is 42. The other 3 points come from extended essay and theory of knowledge. So this is why the maximum is 45. And the average result for each subject in the word is about between 4.5 and 5. And many times we've actually passed the word average even for that. So I've talked about what the school is about, but I would also like what the school is not about. I think it's very important not to have expectations about, a few aspects of the school, and I will go over that. Hopefully I will not offend anybody or will not disappoint, but if you're disappointed about this, I'm sorry. The school is not part of the Ministry of Education. We are not a state school. We are not controlled by MIUR, which is Ministero dell'Istruzione, dell'Università della Ricerca. And so we don't have to follow the pedagogical approach that is promoted by MIUR. That doesn't mean we are completely the opposite or we don't like it. That just means that we can borrow many of the pedagogical principles of the philosophy of Italian schools, like I said, but we don't have to follow the regulations of Italian schools. This is not a school where we teach language. This is not a language school, okay? This is not a place where you send your kids because you want them to learn English. Of course, if you send your kids here, they will learn English eventually, because everything is taught in English, starting from middle school, bilingual, and high school monolingual English. But I would say that if the only goal that you have is for your kids to learn English, there are so many other ways that might be even cheaper, if I may say that, to achieve that objective. So I really would like you to embrace the whole IBO philosophy if you enroll your kids in our school, because that's our main goal. The international mindedness, the IB learner profile, and the IBO mission statement. They all require your kids to learn English, of course, but that is a mean to reach those objectives. That is not the goal. We are not affiliated with any British or American school. We're not part of those systems either, like we're not part of the Italian system. And let me just say that, yes, in a way, we are a private school because there's a price to pay to come to our school. They're not free. But I do not want anybody to think that because this is a private school, then, the kids are advantaged and the teachers will pass the kids anyway because the parents are paying. Let me just say that. So we're not a pay to obtain school. This is very important. I reject 100% this type of approach to a school. This is not a place where you send your school because you want the teachers to take care of everything. Let me end the negativity here and go to something more positive. What are the strengths of the school? I think I've spoken about a few of them already in the previous slides, but I would like to talk about independence. Our students are encouraged to become independent in their learning. The practical approach is definitely one of our key points, the learning by doing. The method, okay, this is what we call ATL, approaches to learning, is also a very important piece of our education. We want them not only to learn things, but to learn how to learn. Attention, our teaching is obviously very much focused on doing, and that requires labs. So we have many laboratories, even for the little ones. And some of the classes that we teach are pretty advanced. We teach classes in robotics, starting from actually 5th year of primary school, science and design technology. Think about, for example, if you look at our curriculum in our brochure, you will see that in MIP 4 and 5, we teach biology, chemistry, and physics 6 hours a week. Our staff is young and motivated. We like our job, we like what we're doing, and we definitely are passionate about it. And so we want our students to become responsible for what they're learning. We don't want our students to study just because we ask them to do that. We don't want to do their homework because they're forced to. They need to understand that true engagement comes from within, and they have to engage in learning in first person. So let me just give you a quick example, because I teach mathematics. I'm a mathematician. I love mathematics. Let me just give you a quick example of what we mean by this learning by doing and inquiry-based teaching. This is something that we do sometimes in MYP 1 as an investigation. Investigation is a fourth, let's say, of the curriculum of mathematics in every year in the MYP, but they start doing investigations now also in primary schools, and it keeps going also in the diploma, where they have to investigate a topic of their own interest, even in mathematics. We can start doing some experiments and see that if we square two consecutive numbers, like 2 and 1, and we take the difference between these two squares, so 2 squared minus 1 squared, we get 3. The next step is that if we squared 3 and 2, the difference is 5. If we square 4 and 3, the difference is 7, and so on. The students are encouraged now to see a pattern in these calculations. What is the difference of two consecutive squares? Okay, so for example, are we able to calculate the difference between 100 squared minus 99 squared without actually having to perform the squares? Because there's a pattern here, and I don't know if you see it. I'm not going to give it out. But maybe to help you better visualize, I will show you this little picture. Okay, look at the squares here. They're depicted with different colors. The square of 2 is here in yellow, and if you subtract the square of 1, you just get this odd number 3. So these differences, they clearly increase with this pattern that we would call an arithmetic sequence, but it doesn't matter what the name is. Every time there's a difference that increases by 2. So you get all those odd numbers. And where do those odd numbers come from? Well, the answer to this little quiz is that the difference between 100 squares and 99 squared is 199. I don't know if you can see why, but this is just to give you a little taste of what the students are encouraged to, what they see in class, and what type of exercise we make them do, on top of obviously the regular exercises, mathematics, in which they learn the techniques to calculate and to represent data. One very important slide that I wanted to show you is this. What have we done during COVID pandemic? I talked to you about the fact that we consider ourselves to be adaptive, not just as the teachers, but also especially, I would say, the kids. The kids have proven to be heroes during the COVID pandemic. We went on lockdown on February 22nd, 2020. And since that day, the school was closed until the end of the year. We were back on September 14th, 2020. All of us were able to come back to school. Now we are in semi-lockdown, so high school is home, middle school, some classes are coming, some are not, and primary school is at school, but it's a very challenging time for schools all over the world. We have implemented this policy, let's say, this framework that we call distance learning. And the distance learning is a plan that we have with actions that we take in order to reach the students, even if they're not in school, with online classes, but also with feedback on their work. It's very important to have synchronous and asynchronous lessons. It's important to have one-on-one time with the teachers. The teachers are there to provide also emotional support. It's important to give the students the right resources to study online, because many times they have to take care of that on their own, even the young ones at home. It's important to keep them active, even if they are confined in their house, by encouraging them to be physically active. And we've also added, now that we are open but not completely open, this concept of blended learning, because sometimes in the classroom we have students who can come to school and students who have to stay home. So it's very challenging, to be honest, but we are trying to provide the best service to everybody by allowing also the kids that are at home to be somehow connected to the classroom, not just through the use of the computer, not just through online connection, but also through special tasks that they have to do at home while their classmates are in class. I would definitely recommend that you go watch our YouTube channel. There are many videos that explain what we do and who we are. Beautiful, the primary school exhibition last year at the end of year 5 of primary school. The students did it entirely online. You can hear some of the contribution from our alumni, Emanuele Nardini, Giovanni Giuliani, Manila Di Giovanni. There are 3 videos where they speak about their experience at this and what they do now at university, and some of the projects that the other students have carried out. So you just look for the Ledda International School online on YouTube, and you will find our channel. Our website is also something that I would recommend that you check out. There are many more information about how to enroll to our school, how to get admitted, because yes, with the exception of primary school, to get admitted to our school, you have to pass an entrance test in mathematics, English, and Italian. So you can look at that admission section on our website. The website is www.genoaschool.eu, but you will see it in the last slide. So check it out, because you can also find a way how to contact us if you have any question. This is what you should do. Well, you can find information about the IBO on www.ibo.org, or you can go directly to our website, www.genoaschool.eu, and you can drop us an email at info@genoaschool.eu. Thank you for listening to this video presentation. My name is Alberto Damiano. I'm the headmaster. And if you would like to talk to me, please drop us a line, and I will be more than happy to chat with you and discuss the possibility of enrolling your kids in our school. Bye-bye.